Ladies and gentlemen, we are here and we are so blessed and honored to have a real dear friend of mine that we go back so many years. And I would say I'm his number one fan, but then I would have to stand in line with a whole lot of people. But Mr. Sonny Charles of the Checkmates was the eminent voice that people wanted to hear here in Las Vegas. We've talked about a lot of great people that have performed here, but I tell you what, if you took a vote, he would be, and it transcends a culture, color of your skin. It just transcends. He's the type of guy that everybody loves. It's just a unique tone. When he sings, you know it's him. And we've had singers. I've interviewed singers that said the same thing about you, Sonny. That you're a heck of a voice. I know that the Checkmates was a group that was authentic. It was something new.
First came to Las Vegas. We did our first audition November 1963. Just got out of the Army in June 1962. So we managed to, we had a little jive agent that would book us for $400 and $500 a week, and it was 5 of us, and we would do it. We were just enough money to eat and gas, enough gas to get to the next job.
Right.
And so, but we did it, and we kept working on our stuff. We were just having so much fun. And so finally, our guitarist, we were in Salt Lake City, and our guitarist was dating this lawyer's daughter, and she talked to her dad, and her dad got us the audition at the Thunderbird here. And we came down on a Monday. We finished working Salt Lake City Sunday night, 2 o'clock in the morning, drove straight to here. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we did our audition at the Thunderbird. And they said, "You guys are good, you got something, but you need to know how to work with an audience. This is not a dance job. You need to do," because we were doing dance things. So we went back, man, and we started putting on cowboy hats and beards, and we would do skits on the weekend. We did a skit where I was Ali and Sweet Louie was Sonny Liston. And we got there and the place was crowded, and we got out there, we had a makeshift ring, and I got my little shorts on, and I'm dancing around doing the Ali shuffle, and Louie hit me right in the mouth. Boom! I was stunned. I looked at him, I said, "This is an act. What are we doing?" I started running. Everybody was laughing. He was chasing me. I ran on off stage. But we did that sort of thing, you know, just whatever came up the top of our heads. And because we were just showmen, and that's all it was.
And the best of showmen. I just love. I was telling our staff here that I've been a big fan of yours for over 40 years.
Yeah,
I would say. You know, when you were younger and I was younger,
yeah.
I mean that to go and see the Checkmates and Sonny Charles was, I mean, it was packed. It was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed. You almost had to know somebody to get in to see you guys. And man, your show was a true variety show. You had comedy, great singing, great arrangements. I mean,
dancing and stuff. Yeah, we were a very physical act. Yeah.
Yes.
So we were working Caesars when Caesars first opened. The stage Nero's Nook had a moat in front of it. You know, just like a little fountains and so Joe Frazier was there before us, Smoking Joe Frazier. He came out there and he was doing his act, and there's a mist that got on the floor, made it slippery because of that fountain.
Yeah.
So he's out there and he did a thing, and he tried to throw a left hook and slipped and fell in the water. Now, the water's about 1.5 feet deep. And he goes, "I can't swim. I can't swim."
Joe?
Yeah, I can't swim. Well, sit up, Joe.
Just sit up. I just read a book called Will Smith.
Yeah.
And for most of his life, he couldn't swim.
I know.
And he did all kind of things that you would think that he could swim, but he didn't. And I don't want to stereotype black folk, but a lot of us had a problem with that water. I don't understand
Well,
that.
you know what? When I was growing up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, they had the public pools that we could go to.
Yes.
There was about 3 pools that we could go to in the city. The rest of them we couldn't go to.
Yes.
You know, and so it all depends on where you were from, what the racial situation was, because a lot of times, you know, there was only one place we could go roller skating in Fort Wayne. There was only one place, and that was Monday night and Saturday afternoon. That's the only time we could roller skate.
You know what you're describing is just access. Like we didn't have access to playing golf or a lot of. Once we got that access, look out.
Well, you know what? Because it's just everybody's just people.
Yes.
You know, if we drop all of the stereotypes and all of the prejudices and all this stuff, we're just people. And when you're laying up in the hospital and you need a blood transfer, you ain't worried about where the blood came from.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know something, Sonny, you've been like that all your life, man.
All my life.
You know, people, I have to say this, you know, some people like to give a sermon, but I can tell you this, from watching your life, you live a sermon, man.
Thank you.
You treat people right, man. I've seen you diffuse a lot of stuff that could have jumped off, could have been negative. But I've seen you do that from the stage and not from the stage.
Yeah, but you know, to me, it just seems like a lot of it is foolishness. You know what I mean? A lot of people act crazy and stuff like that, and you know they just do it. I don't know if they want attention or they're just mad or what it is in their lives that make them want to act out in a negative way in public. You know, the thing about my family when I grew up, there was no racial intolerance at all. You know, it was just like, and I grew up down in Arkansas, but there were white families all around us. They were sharecroppers too. And my old man got along with them, but you know, he wasn't really that much of a social guy.
Yes.
A funny story, we're down in Arkansas, and we got a wagon load of cotton, and we're taking it into the gin, and so they got the stuff up, and we're standing in the little store, a little general store, and that's where he was going to get paid for the cotton. So he's standing there, and all of a sudden I saw my dad reach across the counter and grab this little white guy and pulled him up straight to his face and goes, "I'm a man just like you are," and slammed him back against the wall. I was terrified because I didn't know what was going to happen at that point. So the boss came out and he goes, "You know better than to mess with Charlie." And we walked on out of the place. So I said, my old man had something going on that I didn't know what was going on. After we go to bed and he might leave. I don't know what he was doing.
It's a difference between backbone and blackbone.
Well, I guess
he had a lot of blackbone, didn't he?
Oh man, yeah. But he was the quietest guy.
Yes.
And I can tell you on a couple of occasions, we had white kids that came and stayed with us because the families were too abusive. So they stayed with us until a relative came from out of town and got the kids.
Wow.
And that was my folks. They just took them in.
Yeah. Didn't see. Yeah. You know, I had the privilege of knowing your older sister.
Yeah.
What a saint. And
yeah.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. What a giver.
Yeah,
she gave to the church.
Sure.
She just organized things and just a great person. I want to ask you this. When you first come to Vegas, I understand your first gig was at the Thunderbird. How were they treating you, the group? You were one of the first interracial groups. Am I right or wrong?
We were, and a lot of times you would see. I think there was acts that would come through town, and they would have one black guy would be in the band, but he was just a band member. We were a group. We started in high school. We joined the Army together and stayed together as a group all through the Army, and got out, and we continued to stay together for another 10 years. And it was the same guys all the time. And you know, we weren't great musicians, but we were just having so much fun, and our shows were just
so much fun.
Yeah, it was just so much fun. For the audience enjoyed it.
The audience loved it.
Yeah.
The audience loved it. You know, I think just having you on stage and you guys working together so well and having that mutual respect, you can see that love on stage for each one.
Yeah.
Really spoke volumes to your audience about whether you were trying to give an example of how you can be civil with one another. I think that your audience was so mixed of all races.
Yes, yes.
And everybody got along because
Yes.
you guys were the example. You were the epitome of how different cultures can get together and not have a culture clash.
Yeah, we didn't even do anything like that, and we would make fun of it on stage. We'd make fun of it on stage, but it was all in good fun. It was no hardcore anything.
Yes.
We weren't trying to push any messages at people.
Yes.
We were just showing by example.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, there's some people that like to give a sermon and some people that live a sermon, and I can say that of you. You've been somewhat of a mentor, big brother to me, and I've always respected the way that you operated, the way that you communicated with people, and your showmanship was just
Well,
off.
Lonnie, don't you think that, you got to look at yourself every morning in the mirror, and you got to like that guy you look at.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, then it's up to you to change it.
Yes.
The world can't change it because you're going to fight back if somebody else try to change it.
Yes.
You got to look and be honest enough with yourself to say, that was a couple of times I found myself going the wrong way.
Yes.
And, I stopped and go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm going down the wrong way, and
Right.
there's no way I'm
and
going.
you knew it.
Yeah.
And you knew
I
it.
knew it, and I changed my ways.
Yes. Yes.
I changed it, man. I found myself, I was homeless for 3 weeks in L.A. And I was sitting there, but I had a car. And I had everything I owned in this little Thunderbird, and it packed all around me. And I slept under my clothes in the back seat. I'd pull into a supermarket where it was lit. I'd want to get on a dark street where I'd get robbed. To get on a supermarket where lots of traffic and everything. Yeah. And that's the way I did it. But I kept telling myself over and over again, I'm better than this. I'm better than this. And I went out, found whatever, got a car, I can get a job. And I found them delivering newspapers, delivering phone books. Next thing I know, I was doing messenger service for the lawyers. And, pulled myself back up and got to the point I could pay rent and all that kind of stuff. Went to college. Went to college. I mean, I did good in college for the 3 days I was there, but...
Hey, listen, it's something amazing when you can overcome homelessness. You got Tyler Perry.
Yes.
Think about all of there was a movie about this gentleman, Pursuit of Happiness. He had his kid out there homeless, and he ended up being the darling of Wall Street. He became successful. I don't know if it some people it makes them and some people it breaks them. But the ones that that type of adversity, when it makes you, man, you're unstoppable.
And one of the things that helped me a lot is that I had people weren't afraid to take me in. They weren't afraid that I was going to be somebody going to try to rob them or do something wrong in their place. And I had some friends that took me in, got me off the street. So I had an address. It's hard to get a job without an address.
Absolutely.
And so I had an address. I got myself some work. Man, I did everything from painting houses to working in warehouses. It was a wonderful experience for me because I got a chance to get in touch with myself. No more this fantasy show business, fake glamour stuff that you go through. Mm-hmm. You're making a lot of people a lot of money, but you're not getting it.
Yes.
It gave me a chance to grow up. And I look back on it as a very positive experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very positive, yeah.
It made you the person that you are today.
Yeah.
And you know what's amazing, that we keep on reinventing ourselves the older we get. We learn, and we nobody's perfect. It was only one person on this earth that was perfect.
Yeah.
And we're not that person.
And you know what? it doesn't make sense to strive for perfection.
No.
You just got to be who you are. And I tell
That's right.
people all the time, everybody's got a right to be who they are, but the rest of us got a right to judge you.
Yes.
If you're messing up,
Right.
But you have a right to be that person.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
and if you do some dastardly stuff, then the law will take care of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you this: when did you know that you said that you and your friends? When did you know that you wanted to really go after this music business seriously? When do you know what time was defined when you said, you know what, this is what I want to do?
You know what? It came to me pretty easily. Once my buddy called me up one day, and I'm thinking, well, I was about 14 years old. He goes, man, they have a talent show at McCulloch Center. I want you to go down there and just stand on stage with me. You don't have to sing, just stand there, because I'm a little bit nervous. So I got there, and he did this song, that lucky old song, up in the morning, out on a job, work like the devil for my pay. Lucky old son, nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. He said, up in the morning, and froze. He was standing there, he froze. I went, out on a job, work like that. I stepped in front of him and finished the song. He was mad at me for about a week. Because, man, you just took my song away from me.
You weren't doing nothing with it.
Lonnie, I got a record contract that night.
Are you serious?
This guy was in the audience.
You know, it is very. This business is very fortuitous, man.
Yeah.
You know, you never know when who's watching or who's listening,
right.
who's
That's
in
right.
the audience.
That's right.
And man, it turns on a dime.
That's right. And it's like I've always said from that, that there's a lot to destiny. Some things you were just built right to do this. The way I think, the way I sing, the way my sense of comedy and all that stuff was just perfect for that era that I was in. And the fact that we didn't perform like we weren't a black act, we weren't a white act, we were the Checkmates.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so and we didn't try to move one way or the other. We stayed down the middle because that's who we were.
Right.
It wasn't by design. It's just who we were. And it turned out it made us unique.
Yes, absolutely. And well, I'm going to go a step further. It made you the best when it came to variety entertainment.
Yeah.
It made you the best. I know you're the type of person that's pretty humble about who you are, but you just take a survey of people that have lived in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who the Checkmates are. I don't care who you are. And
well, they did a thing. I think the Review Journal had it out a few years back. The top 50 acts to play Vegas, and Checkmates were number 25, right? And Elvis was number 26. But the thing
that doesn't surprise me.
No,
though.
but it was the most influential acts.
Right.
That was the title. But because the thing with us, all of a sudden we opened the doors for the Temptations and the Four Tops and James Brown and all these other black R&B acts. When they found out that the audience loved that music because of us, then it just opened up doors,
Were you exposed to where black entertainers had to go through the back door to perform, or did you guys miss that?
Yeah, well, we right on the tail end of it. I remember we played in Sheboygan, Michigan, and if we didn't have two white guys in our group, we couldn't have stayed there. We would have to drive 50 miles to another little town where there was some black folks where we could maybe rent a room in their house. That's the way it was back then. You'd have, just like early Vegas. Mm-hmm. Sammy Davis was staying at somebody's house, until Dean Martin and them said no. But it was, the mindset back then was, this is the way it is. And to go crazy trying to figure some way to fight people. No, we just wanted to work. We just wanted to have fun. And as far as being able to go around the country singing and playing with the girls. I mean, that was all I wanted to do.
And they gonna pay me to do it?
Yeah, they paid me to do it. Yeah.
So your whole career was like a labor. I don't want to. It's also almost sounds like an oxymoron, but a labor of love. You love what you did.
Yeah, I still do.
And it shows, man.
I still do. The one thing, and I've told people, I never had the ambitious gene. I never was an ambitious guy. I was pretty much, I wanted everything to be right. I wanted my product to be right. But I wasn't looking to be the biggest star in the business or that sort of thing.
But you did have a big record.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Black Pearl, I think that, and speaking of that, I've talked to you offset about this. I think that record would be, if it was played again, if you rearranged it, it would be wonderful in this space that we're in right now. Black Pearl.
Well, I've been giving that a lot of thought, and I think I will make that something I'm going to jump on.
That I think that the times and is ready for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the lyrics are beautiful. It empowered people that have been trodden down. You know, the black woman. I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful song. And that song, the reason why it was so successful, it was white people were buying the song.
Well, two Jewish people wrote the song. You know, it was written. Tony Wine, Sheldon Irving wrote this song. There were people that knew Phil Spector, and Phil Spector, the Hall of Fame producer.
Yes.
And he saw it, and we had another song before, but he got this song, and he goes, this song would fit you. And so we did the song. He slowed the track down to the point that I could sing it, because they recorded the music before they had me in there to find out what key I did it in.
Right.
So they slowed it down. I sang it, then he sped it back up again. So I sounded like this. And I said to the guys, wait a minute, how am I supposed to go out there and sing this song in another voice? It's not going to be the voice that's on the record. He goes, don't even worry about that. We're selling the record. I don't worry about your performances. That's what they gave. And he was right.
Wow.
He was right. He goes, hey, I'm making a record here.
And that was Phil Spector then?
Phil Spector. He says, this record belongs to me until I finish with it. And when it's all finished and I hand it over to you, then it's yours. But right now, I'm the one that's making this record.
And everything he was touching back then was
everything
turning to gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Platinum.
Yeah. He was crazy.
But a lot of very gifted people sometimes can move to that eccentric side.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Well, you got to be able to go where nobody's gone before. I talked to a guy the other day, and he was talking about, man, that's impossible. I said, you know what? Impossible means nobody's done it yet.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Right.
Nobody's done it yet. So, and the way everything evolves, you know, for me to be sitting here now talking about times that I didn't think it was going to ever change. I didn't think racism was going to change.
Yes.
You know, and it's changed.
What do you think is the major factor of why it changed? Is it education? Is it laws? Is it people's hearts have changed? People have, because of integration, they've been around more people, and they said, well, you know, this doesn't fit the stereotype.
You know, Lenny, I think it's all of the above.
Yes.
I think it's all of the above. You know, luckily, I think when you see the tragedy that's happening in our ghettos, these kids, they turn to the gang side or do all that sort of stuff just to survive. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's not a good way to survive, but at the time they're young enough to think it is.
They're impressionable.
Yeah. It's young enough to think it is.
Uh-huh.
And there's nobody, like, if I'd have tried to do a gang, my old man would have tore me up.
See? And that could be the difference.
It is
because
the difference.
When you join a gang, it's like joining a family.
Yeah.
And if your family is all broken up,
yeah,
and you don't feel loved there, maybe you feel loved in
Yeah.
that gang culture, you know.
Yeah, it's just like these kids grow up and it's either the grandmother's taking care of them or an aunt or a single mom's got 4 kids and she can't keep control of them, especially once they reach teenagers.
Yes.
You know, especially them young boys, young girls too.
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna then once they get their own mind made up what they want to do, and maybe that's the way it should be. Now I don't know, but I think it's if you got a good strong family unit and you raise that kid right, I think you'll have a good person. You know.
In your opinion, the entertainment in Las Vegas, you've been here, like you said, in the early
Yeah.
60s. Matter of fact, when you said November 1963, that was right around when John F. Kennedy was. November 22nd, 1963. And you came after that or before that?
Yeah, it was after that.
Yes. So people needed to feel.
Yeah. We were in Missoula, Montana when JFK got killed, and we were doing a radio show, and it came in breaking news, and stopped our radio interview and to tell us about the assassination. That's how we found out about it, you know. And yeah, man, it was that was a weird period, you know. I don't know, because Kennedy was so much for racial equality, and I don't know if that's what got him killed or if it was the mob, because he was doing some stuff against them. They wanted to break up.
Actually, it was his brother, wasn't it? Robert?
Yeah, but he was still
had to go
he
to
was
the
still in it,
president.
and they ended up getting to Robert too.
Yes.
But you know, I don't know. We used to play for all those guys, a lot of the mob things. You know, we've never had any problem with it at all. As long as you did what you're supposed to do, and if you're successful, they're making money, and you don't cause any ruckus.
And you know, a lot of people say that when the mob ran Las Vegas, you know, customer service was number one. You know, they took care of their customers. Now with the bean counters and now that these mega resorts, every department has to make a dollar. It seems like customer service. When people say, "Man, give me vintage Vegas, give me Vegas back in the day," that's what really made propel Vegas.
When we played, we would be at Caesars. We'd be headlining Caesars Lounge, and there was billboards all in L.A., San Francisco, billboards, people advertising what Vegas had. And now it's up to the artist to go on social media and do your own advertising. That's what gets me with a lot of the places.
Yes.
Well, you got to go on social media if you want to get a crowd. No, I'm working your joint. You need to advertise that I'm here. You know,
but they're trying to save money.
Yeah.
They don't want to spend the money.
No, because you know, advertising is a big cost.
Yes.
So if you can do it and you got 500,000 friends, and you know you can get 50 or 60 of them a show to come in along with whatever else is there, then you're doing quite well.
Do you think that that's where this concept called four-walling?
Yeah.
Now, do you think that? Explain to our audience what four-walling is.
The four-walling is when you walk in, the room is there. Now, the way we did it, our version of four-walling, we did it at the. It used to be the Thunderbird, and then it became something else after that. But we were working there, and so what it was, the hotel would take. I'm trying to bring a Major Rental had the hotel, so we would pack the room, $650 a person to get in, $650 a person to get in. All they wanted was 50 cents a drink. Is what we paid the hotel. 50 cents a drink to make. The rest of it was ours. And we were doing really good at it until Sweet Louie messed it up.
What did Sweet Louie do?
Man, so the owner's wife came in with her little nephew, and we were doing that macho, man. It was back in those days. So we got the kid up, And the kid did the Macho Man because he knew the song.
Uh-huh.
And so he loved it. So now the family is happy. The ownership family is happy. So about a month later, they come back. Now, Louis already said, I want to take that song out of the show. I don't like doing that song. So they came in, and she goes, could you do that Macho Man song? He'd like to get up there because we got the so-and-so family from New York here, and they want to see him. So I'm saying, yeah, sure. Louis, I'm not doing it.
Oh,
no. I'm taking it out of the show. I told him, I said, Louis, do the song. No, don't tell me how to do my show. So
he alienated the people that was paying.
Here's what happened. The next day, they'd put a curtain up. No, they'd open the curtain so people can stand outside and watch for free. And so pretty soon we'd have a bunch of people standing outside and half a house that paid the $650. And so I'm saying,
yeah, they cut down your money.
He goes, that's okay, man. They can't tell us how to do what we're doing. And I said,
see, that's shooting yourself in the foot.
I said, they're not telling you. They're saying, if you're going to work in our place, this is what you do.
Right.
To me, that makes common sense.
Yeah, it's more than just a show. It's business also.
It's business, yes.
Yeah, and
it's
he
show
was putting
business.
more emphasis on show instead of the business.
Yeah,
side.
yeah, and you know, couldn't get it through. So that killed that experiment. But man,
and we love Sweet Louis. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah.
That was a boo boo on his part. Cause did he ever realize that he kind of messed up?
He'd never admit it.
He never admitted.
He'd never admit it. You know.
Yeah. But you guys stayed together for how many years?
Because I'm stupidly loyal. You know, that's just the way it is,
well,
man.
like I said, you live a sermon, man.
Yeah,
you live a sermon.
That's my boy, man. We left home together.
Right.
You know, we left home together.
Ride or die.
Joined the army together. We went through all that stuff
Yeah.
together. And he turned out to be stupid when he got to be old. But you know, but he was still.
You still loved him.
Yeah, he was like a brother, man.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
You know.
Like they say, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your relatives.
You can't pick
he
your
was
relatives.
like your relative.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so man, you know, when he passed away on a cruise ship, we was working Royal Caribbean, and we were down in the Caribbean, and I found him in the room, and I just looked at him and said, you know what, you did the best you could. And it's the last thing I said, you know. That's who he was.
Yeah.
You know, flaws and all.
But you know, the audience never knew that side.
No.
They never.
No.
It was the band.
And they shouldn't know that.
Yes.
You know, because we want to represent whatever our musical product was, you know.
I think your band stayed together longer than most bands.
Yeah.
For me, I would say 4 decades or more, wasn't it?
Well, you know, the name stayed there, but the major players that started it, we were together about 10 years.
Okay.
About 10 years, maybe 12.
Well, okay, how about you and Sweet Louis? You guys were together at least 40, 50
Yeah,
years.
yeah, because I kept, man, I ain't got nowhere to stay. Okay, man, I got a house over here. You can stay here.
Right.
Man, I ain't got no car. Well, man, listen, I know a guy over here at this place. Go over there and here's some money to get. Yeah. He was like
was your brother?
He was like he was older than me, but he was like a younger brother that just could never get his feet right on the ground, you know. So
let me ask you this: the chemistry of Las Vegas, does that have a impact? And I'm going to tell you my definition of what I'm trying to ask you. You know, when you come to Las Vegas, there are a lot of distractions like gambling, like drinking, like how do you stay so regimented to be on stage on time, to do everything that you're supposed to do for the business side of the show?
Because I love that. I love what I did more than I did the other stuff.
Yes.
So that stuff didn't, you know, just like you take these guys who really do well in sports or in anything, you get sort of like a tunnel vision on what you want to have happen, and you fall in love with that, with your craft.
And that superseded drinking or running around? Or...
Yeah. Well, you know, I was never much for the stuff. I wasn't a drug guy, and I didn't like being drunk.
Yes.
I didn't like being out of control. I wanted to be in control of me and my surroundings. and that's just the way I've lived.
But a lot of entertainers, why do you think, and not stereotyping a lot of, but there, you think about it, I mean, Frankie Lyman, I mean, we could go through a whole list of people that have died over, an overdose or cirrhosis of the liver.
Yeah.
What
but
causes
the thing is, because I went through a period. We were in New York, and we were playing at the Copacabana in New York. And I'm staying on the 21st floor, Warwick Hotel, right there in Manhattan. And I walked out on the balcony. That was the same weekend that they were doing Woodstock. And they wanted us to go to do Woodstock. And we said, it's raining and it's muddy. And we wear tuxedos. And these people, our stuff would not work up there.
Right.
And I ain't going up there.
Right.
And so we didn't go. But it was one of the most unhappiest time in my life. And we were at the zenith of our career. We were just everywhere. We were doing like 2 and 3 network shows a week, just television shows. And
so the success of the business was a downer for you, or I don't understand.
it was the fact that all of a sudden that wasn't my life anymore. I was like a racehorse. They shined me up, put on good clothes, get them in. Okay, you got a 2 o'clock here, and then you got a 9 o'clock show over here in the morning, and then you got to work the Copa at night, and we were just working. Yeah, we were getting a lot of publicity, and everybody loved us. We were famous, but and that's when a lot of people, man, they started hitting the juice, or either they take whatever else they can
to get them up for the show.
Just to calm you down. Just that.
Speaking of calming you down, I want to ask you. I know that I played the little ball at UNLV.
Yeah.
And after a game, it takes you a little while to wind down. Is this the same thing?
Yeah, and see that's. Say you wind down and you're sitting there and you have a few drinks after work and everything, and then it all depends on who you're with and where you go. You sit there and you have a few drinks, and the next thing you know is daylight. You've been drinking for a long time, and I never would go that far with it, because once I started getting crazy, I just go on and
man, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I didn't want to be passed out in somebody else's place, and that wasn't my way. But yeah, it's so easy just to fall into that something that I can relax. I need a way to relax. I need a way to sleep. That's the big thing they were saying. You hear all these artists say, I can't sleep. You get on the treadmill and you just can't get off. And I think
like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, Prince. The story goes on and on and on. These people can't sleep.
Is it something about your own expectations, like when you're out performing in front of a large audience, and you, like, I know you want your product to be good, you don't want it to be bad, you want the people to enjoy themselves. Does that put a certain amount of pressure on you that causes, is that one of the factors that cause people to?
Well, I think it would be if you didn't do your rehearsing. You got to, just like when you're playing ball, if you don't ever get the team together and rehearse and work out your plays and work out who's going to do this when I do that and all that sort of thing, if you prepared, then that other part, I'm glad to go out there.
Yes.
I'm happy to go out there because I'm having fun. I'm gonna have some fun with
I'm ready.
Yeah, because I know I'm prepared.
Coach Tark used to say, "You practice like you play."
Yeah, and that's so true.
Yes.
And we would have practices, man. We'd be soaking wet, going through the routines, man. Just making it right. And that was so much fun because you were building something. We could feel we were building something, and we could feel the admiration from the fans and all that kind of stuff, man. And we felt almost bulletproof as far as recording. And I didn't care who I was on stage with. I wasn't intimidated by nobody else on stage because I knew what I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? I knew what I did, and I wasn't trying to do what they did.
Uh-huh.
They couldn't do what I did either.
No.
Uh-uh. And that was fun.
Did you, in your comings and going, that you met Elvis? Name some of the artists that maybe you worked with or you met And what was your opinions of them?
I really liked Elvis. I really liked Elvis. He was just really nice with us. You know, he was a fan. He was a fan. He wanted us to come do New Year's Eve down in Graceland, and we were working the Sands at that time. And the Sand says, "No, it's New Year's Eve. You guys are gonna be here. Yeah,
right.
You ain't going to Elvis." Right. And so yeah, he was really cool. Frank Sinatra was just really, really nice. Because professionally, they had professional respect for you, first of all. And then when you found out you weren't a jerk,
right?
You know what I mean? And
because some people, the ego gets to them, right?
Yeah.
That you see that a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I see that a lot.
Sometimes they call the women divas, or do they call men divas also, or is that just women? But people, they get a huge super ego.
They get an ego, but you know, a lot of times it's just like, I remember the 2 times that made me wonder about superstardom was one with Dinah Ross.
Yes.
And we were opening for her, and so the promoter says, "Okay, we're going to take you back. You guys can say hello to Miss Ross." And so we went back just to thank her for having us on the show. And pardon my expression, get them M's out of my room. First thing she said, Shaka Khan did the same thing.
What?
And you're saying, we walked out and said, why would she do that stuff? And I said, man, you know, who knows what kind of pressure this woman under?
Right.
What kind of pressure is she under to make her just be mad, don't even know us? I knew she knew of us because we wouldn't have got the show if she didn't know of us. But maybe
she was in her zone or something.
Maybe it's in her zone, but they should have known that before they took us back there.
Before they took you back there.
And she could have easily just said, not now, fellas.
Yeah, that hurts the chemistry when you degrade people.
Yeah.
And especially then they're gonna share the stage with you. How can you go out there and smile and you know that after you've insulted someone?
I know. Well, you know, a lot of people like to feel so important that they can say whatever they want.
Wow.
And who cares? What are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do with Donna Ross or Shaka Khan or anybody else who wants to be? Like I say, I don't judge because I don't know what was going on in their lives.
Right.
You know, all I know was from then on, somebody goes, well, want to go meet so-and-so something? Well, not necessarily.
Right.
You know, if they ask me to come over, yes, I will.
Yes.
But don't just take me over there and go.
Because you never know.
No, you never know.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, the type of impromptu introduction. You never know.
But you know, man, back in those days, there was Ebony magazine had a cover. Ebony magazine of the one time, I think this was 1973, maybe. That every headliner on the strip was black, and it was like
I saw that Ebony cover. I remember you were at Caesar's Palace in front of the marquee.
Yes,
we gotta find that. And put
I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I got it. I got a copy of that. But the thing was, I was doing a solo shop. We'd already broken up. Our act had broken up by then. Mm-hmm. And I was doing a solo act at the Flamingo right across the street. Mm-hmm. And they called me at 4 o'clock in the morning. Hey, man, we're going to this photo shoot. You got to be there. So, yeah, I was there, you know, and it was just like, it was great.
I saw all of them, man.
It was great.
All the great ones.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this. In a relationship, is it, and I don't know if you've done this or not, to be in a relationship with another performer, is that good or bad, or sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad?
You know, I never tried to work until lately when I was doing Piero's thing with Pia Zadora. And but we got along great. We're still real good friends.
Let me pose a question this way. In a relationship like husband and wife, or did you ever date a person that was in the business?
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
How did it work?
It worked fine for me because I never had a relationship. I might have had relations, but I didn't have a relationship.
So you didn't have all that responsibility.
No. You know what? Because people in show business, especially people doing solo acts, they're consumed by that. If you're successful, you got to be consumed by it. You just can't be lackadaisical and be a superstar.
Yes.
You got to be focused and you got to walk the extra mile, to do that kind of
stuff. So
stuff.
that girlfriend is a distant second.
Yeah.
And they knew it.
Well,
and you might have been a distant second for them. Depending on who it was.
Yeah. Who knows?
Now, I've heard rumors about some of the ladies you date, but I won't bring them up.
No, don't. Please don't.
I won't bring them up.
Yeah, because
But I know some of them were superstars.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's one of those things like it's just something to do, really, because you're traveling around and you see somebody and you just hang out for a little while and then you go on about your business,
Right.
And the next day you might be in Hawaii. And what do you do when you finish? You got nowhere to go. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You pick a little plum.
Right. right.
Yeah.
That's a part of the culture, isn't it?
Part of the culture, yeah. And it's good. Normally, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yes.
Everybody comes out okay with that.
But you think about these married couples like Steve and Edie.
Yeah.
I mean, and really, the only ones that I can think of that's contemporary would be Jay-Z and but you don't see a
Beyonce,
lot of them staying together a lot in this generation.
I like Billy Davis and Marilyn McCool.
Yeah, they stayed together.
Stayed together all this time. Yeah. And
they're still together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they went through that whole period, and stayed. I don't know. I've been with my wife for 36 years now.
Yes.
But
let me put some emphasis on it. Okay. You're a beautiful wife.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I don't.
Beautiful, kind, loving, and
say it all. Because she's gonna watch this.
And a great cook.
Oh no, I can attest to the great cook now.
Yeah.
She's a great cook.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been fun, man, for me.
Yes.
And I'll say that basically the bumps that I've come through in my life. And, just the same bumps everybody goes through, family members dying and friends dying and all that kind of stuff and running on hard times financially and you get through it and then you go through medical stuff and just a human experience.
Yes.
It's just a human experience. And I never looked at everything as, my wife would tell me, when I had a little mini stroke situation and she said, how can you be laughing and stuff would, she said, I'd be miserable with this. I said, what is that going to help me? How is that going to help me?
Right.
The stuff that's going to help me is to keep my spirits up.
Well, you kept the spirits up for your audience. I mean, we mentioned the time doing JFK. I mean, coming off of that, how do you make the people happy? Or coming off of this coronavirus or all of these micro and macro changes in the business environment, in our society, the entertainers are the ones that we kind of go to say, give me some normalcy, make me laugh, let me enjoy.
Yeah, let me get an hour and a half of where I'm not thinking about my life.
Right.
I'm just enjoying what's happening.
Right.
It gives you that little break from your own stuff.
Did you feel, or do you feel a responsibility, knowing that you're taking the stage during times of people are down and out? Do you mention it, or how do you?
No, you know what? I always try to be. I don't like to do stuff to make people remember how bad they got it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that stuff to them. What I want to do is be positive on stage, and clown around and act stupid sometimes.
Right.
But make sure that my music is right.
Right.
And so that's basically it.
And get people out of that.
That
it's a conundrum that when you experience certain things, and then how do you switch it off? And
Well, you know what? It's a switch on. You know, just like when you played ball.
Yes.
Before the game, you got to get your game face on.
Exactly.
You got to put yourself in it. So when I drive to work, I'm singing as loud as I can in my car. I'm singing loud as I can. With me and Donny Hathaway will be singing, and sometimes it'll be Lionel Richie. Who knows? Whoever I have on my mind that day, and just singing out loud, and just saying, "Okay, I'm getting ready to go have a good time." And that's the mindset I put myself in before I get there.
Speaking of those great entertainers, who would you say really was an influence on you as far as music is concerned? Who, a great entertainer like yourself, who do you like to listen to? And
I grew up. I think the first artist that I really grew up liking was Louis Jordan. And this is way back when we were sharecroppers, and on the weekends, maybe a Saturday night or a Sunday night, they'd put up a tent, and somebody would have a reel, and they'd show the sepia movies. It would be Louis Armstrong, it would be Herb Jeffries, all of the black shows, Amos and Andy. We'd get to watch all of those shows, and because there was no televisions, and we couldn't go to the movies. If we go to the movies, we had to go up to the top. They used to call it nigger heaven. That's what they called it. And we'd go up outside on the stairs. You couldn't even go inside and go upstairs. You had to go outside, and you get a little side door there. And if you wanted something to eat, you had to come down, and there was a little window outside that you could order stuff. If it's raining and cold and freezing, that's what you had to do. You had to go to the restroom. You had to go outside. There was an outhouse for blacks. And it was just, but that was the life we knew.
that was a reinforcement of the psyche that you're less.
Yeah.
You're less because in my life I've seen the black the colored drinking fountain and the white.
Yeah.
It's coming from the same water, man. Only to reinforce your inferiority, they may keep this unkept and this one shiny over here.
Yeah.
And you can't help but to look and do a compare and contrast. And if it hits you like they wanted to hit you, then you feel a little less.
You know when it really hit me was I just finished my basic training in the Army, and so they'd sent me to Fort Benning, Georgia. By mistake. I was supposed to go stay with the rest of the guys. They sent me down there, and when I got down and I saw that the colored drinking fountain was just water, a tap. It was rusty because it was hard water. It's rusty. About 20 feet away was a refrigerated fountain for whites. Now this was in the bus station and the airports, and that's the way it was. But I got to keep saying it. I didn't know any different. It had always been that way. Mm-hmm. And I remember being, it was around Christmas. I was in Columbus, Georgia, and I was doing some Christmas shopping because I was going to take a furlough and go home and then leave and go on to Washington. And so I was shopping, and I couldn't remember where the bus station was. I had to get back to the post. And I saw a policeman. I said, "Officer, excuse me. Boy, you don't talk to me. You just don't walk up and talk to me." "Pardon me, officer, I'm sorry." And I turned around and almost ran. Because, I was totally helpless in that situation. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't stand up and be a man. No, you're just going to jail. You're going to get beat up and go to jail. And I knew better, and I knew that. And so I was so glad to get, I said, if I got to spend my whole 3 years down here, I'm going to get in trouble.
Well, at one time they said that Las Vegas was the Mississippi of the West.
Yeah, I heard that.
And
yeah.
But you came right after that was over. But
Yeah.
I know you interface with a lot of entertainers that may have told you stories. What are some of the stories that you heard and from whom?
Yeah, it's just like Treniers. The Treniers did that sort of stuff. They do their show, and then you have to go either sit in the kitchen. If it was real cold and stuff like that, sit in the kitchen. If not, you could go outside and sit by the pool, or something like that, unless people were out there. but no, you couldn't go around and enjoy the casino.
And that Jim Crow thing, all it was a reinforcement of someone's superiority and your inferiority.
And also playing into that thing was the business owners were afraid if they integrate, they're going to kill the cash cow, which in their opinion was white people.
Right.
So they didn't want to have less. Okay, this place got too many black people. We're not going there anymore. Mm-hmm. They didn't want that reaction.
Right.
And I guess once they found that reaction was just fantasy, because people didn't really care.
Well, what do you think kind of started that in Vegas? Was it the Moulin Rouge? Did you hear anything about the Moulin?
I heard about it, but that was 1960. We got here in 63 and started working here in 64, like the spring of 1964. But yeah, I heard a lot about it. Talking about Bailey and all of those people that were really. I mean, he was a great hero in my opinion.
He was.
Yeah,
in mine,
a real good man.
Yes.
But we heard about it, but basically, when we got here, the first thing they told us they said, okay, we're gonna have you boys come back. You go work up an act, and you can come back. But let me tell you this. Now, the white girl's gonna like you, but you don't do it here. Now, whatever you do at your rooms or wherever you stay, that's up to you. But stay out of trouble with the police and don't do it here.
And don't fraternize.
Yeah.
I saw an interview, a national interview of you, and I can't remember, I don't know if it was NBC or it was a big interview, and you said that one of the owners told you, okay, you can sing, but sing over the white women. Don't sing to them.
No, yeah. You can't be trying to make
eye contact.
Yeah. You don't want to be the crooner for, Now you can sing to a black girl.
Right.
But if you sing, just direct the song toward white women. No, they didn't want that, and they said no fraternizing. So here's what happened. The story plays out. We're at Caesars. We're the toast of the town at this point. Guess who's walking down the line with arms around two white women?
Don't tell me.
Oh, yeah. At that point, I was making them too much money.
Right.
They were making too much money. It was just stuff like that.
So they can look the other way.
Yeah, I was full of myself at that point.
Yeah.
Young guy.
Yeah.
I was full of myself at that point. That's one of the times I had to look in the mirror and say, "Okay,
right,
you need to rethink this."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what? It was good that I did it, because the whole thing. I remember hearing my dad say, no man can tell you how to live your life. You got to decide how you live your life. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much stuck with me. I don't let society tell me how I'm going to live.
Right.
As long as I'm not breaking any laws.
Right. Exactly.
I can live the way I want, and I'm willing to take the consequences.
Yes.
Yes.
And
but I got to tell you, man, as far as my life path, being an entertainer, being in entertainment all my adult life, it was the right move for me.
Yes.
It was the right move for me, at this point, heading toward my 82nd year, and I feel good with my life.
How do you feel when someone comes up to you, you don't know them, they're a stranger, but they're a big fan, and they say, something, that song, my wife, we were dating, now we're married, we have kids, even some that say, hey, we have grandkids, like me. I'm a fan of yours and I have grandkids,
Yeah.
How do you feel when you know that you made a big positive impression on their lives?
It makes you feel really good. And it makes me feel, good. I don't take it lightly, because I've seen some situations where people can get really emotional over songs. The way you do a song might touch one person the way it touched nobody else. it might bring some memory of something happened. I remember seeing people in the show just break down and cry over a song. I mean, just breaking down crying because it reminded them of something, and I was glad that I was able to touch that part. You know, even if it was sad to them, it's something they had to deal with anyway.
Yes.
So if I could trigger that,
it could be therapy for them.
If I could trigger that, it means okay, I'm doing my job.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can see the people in the audience how they just like we see you, you can see us.
Yeah.
Or sometimes if the lights are really bright, can you see past a certain group, the first two rows? I don't know.
Well, you know, I learned. We were playing one of those roadhouses in Montana again, with the chicken wire in front of the stage. And these guys would throw beer bottles at them. They'd finish the bottle. They'd finish. If they really like you, it'd be bang, beer bottles all over the place.
Oh, if they like you?
Yeah.
Oh, what if they don't like you?
I don't know them.
They don't pick up a gun.
I don't know them cowboys, man. I didn't know them, you know. Right. But they said, stay behind the wire, you know. So, you know, it was, you know, just like a weekend, you know, you do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You go, we don't want to go back there no more. You
know? Yeah, different culture, man.
Yeah. Just different things.
That's a culture clash right there.
And these guys would fight. There'd be 2 or 3 fights every show.
While you singing?
Yeah, all of a sudden. But they didn't pull guns or nothing. Fist fights, John Wayne style. And there'd be 3 or 4 of them fighting.
Hold on. So you're giving the entertainment, and all of a sudden you're being entertained.
Yeah, you're seeing the fight, and they go, turn it up, turn the music up. Okay.
Oh, when the fight jump off, then they tell
turn
you
up the music, and then they send their bouncers in there to quiet it down. You know, take people out that need to take out again.
While they're fighting, does it take away from the steps that you're doing?
Oh, yeah, we started watching. So I got $5 on the big board.
Hey, listen, so you've seen a lot from the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen someone that was pregnant in your audience that looks like they're going to have a baby? I mean, have you seen that part?
I haven't seen that part. I've seen a couple of guys die.
Oh, my goodness.
A couple of heart attacks. And
in your audience?
They have to stop the show and take the person out. But here's the thing. They always say the person died en route to the hospital. They never say that he died at the hotel because the hotel didn't want to be responsible.
Right.
But, yeah. So you would always hear it said that he died en route to the hospital.
Right.
But, yeah. I don't know. You know, Lonnie, I tell you, if I could do it all again, I don't know what I would change. I'll save some of the money.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the only thing I would have done different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you've heard here, please subscribe and hit like. I just want to thank you, my friend, for taking the time to come out and see us. And I don't believe you're 82.
82, man.
I don't believe it.
82.
Man, you look good. You look really, really good.
2 days older than ice water.
Well, I tell you what, you look great. You look great. So
I feel good.
I want to ask you this: are you currently performing? And when was your last engagement?
My last engagement was about 2 years ago. I was at Piero's with Pia, Pia Zadora, and when the pandemic hit, and then we stopped, and so right now, I really don't want to do a lot of traveling. Matter of fact, I don't want to travel at all. I was doing cruise ships, and I didn't want to do that because I said I don't want to be on a ship with people with COVID.
Yes.
And I'm stuck out to sea, and I can't.
Yes.
What am I going to do?
Get away.
Yeah. So I didn't really want to do that. And right now, I'm to the point now. I'm saying my whole goal in life at this point, and in my 80s, is to enjoy my life.
Yes.
I want to fill my life with smiles. You know, I'm done with all the other stuff.
I think, and I've shared this with you, off camera. I really think that you should redo Black Pearl.
I'm going to do it.
I think it'll be a big hit. It'll make a lot of people happy. Well, I like to, because your voice hasn't changed, man.
No.
I mean, that's a blessing. You know, you see someone that has been in the business as long as you have, then the voice is not like it used to be.
Well, I sing every day. I sing every day. It's not, it's like.
Use it or lose it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just love singing, so I sing every day, you know, and I sing out loud just like I'm singing to a full audience.
Yes.
You know, I sing and then I put the emotions in it. I think about it. You know, I tell young singers that every song is a one-act play. You have to know what you're singing about, and you have to be true to that message that you're doing. You just can't be. I know the lyrics. I know the lyrics, and you haven't thought about what you were saying. You haven't thought about what the song is like. Don't pick a song that you don't like, just because it's popular. You're not going to do it right.
Well, Mr. Charles, a toast to you.
Hey,
thank you for many years of making me
right.
happy and my family.
Here's to us and those like us. Damn few of us left.
Yes. Amen.